Hello and welcome everybody to a special edition of the General Counsel pregame show. I am Holly B, your host for this evening, and I have with me a special guest. Elizabeth Hodge is in the house. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Okay. And Red Hawk is joining us, adding a little bit of light youngster antics to the show here this evening. Welcome, Red Hawk.
Hey, how's it going? Red Hawk here.
Okay, welcome everybody. So let's go ahead and dive right in. We actually have a lot to cover here this evening. Next General Counsel is scheduled for May 30th at Blue Sky Hall in Ethity. 10 a.m. sharp. Show up. Let's get counted. Let's get that quorum going. Need to go over the disclaimer here. I do not represent the tribes. I'm exercising my individual sovereignty. I am representing myself, as each of our other guests are doing, representing themselves. We are exercising our freedom of speech, freedom of press, and freedom of expression. This is our personal opinion. We are not in the business of defamation, and we do our due diligence before we get started. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Do we all agree with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's just go down the line of the agenda. Let's get quorum. If we do not get 150 people by 10:30, Miss Sunny Goggles can cancel it and set a new rescheduling date. So let's go ahead and knock it out. We have quite a bit of work to get done here. Here's a copy of the agenda. It's a 2-pager. It looks kind of like a lot of information, but let's really take a look at this agenda and break it down, shall we? Opening prayer. I'll need a little bit of prayer during this time and these days. First thing, item number 2, selection of the next General Counsel chairperson. And as you all are familiar with, Miss Sunny Goggles is the current chairperson. My recommendation, and I believe it's the consensus of the group here. I'll get your input from each one of you. Sunny Goggles Duran, vote her out. She is not current on tribal issues, which you can tell from the agenda as we go through this. She's not current. She's doing agenda manipulation, procedural manipulation with all these different time limits, and allows personal vendetta issues, as you'll see also as we dive through this agenda. In the past, this past General Counsel, she weaponized the veterans to act as security. I didn't appreciate that, being a veteran myself. And she has stacked the agenda also, as you'll see as we go through. And in my opinion, it's biased sharing. Your thoughts, Liz?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think it is biased. I know, I never even got a confirmation or anything, acknowledgement of my agenda item. Still, to this day, I have not. But it's on the agenda, so, and dead last. It's a very important thing. Why not let it be first, Miss Sunny?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's no wiggle room there either. I mean, if there is an issue with your agenda item, it was like one day your agenda item is due and then boom, the agenda is issued. There's no wiggle room. Like, did I do it right? Do you need more information there, Miss Goggles? There was absolutely no wiggle room. It was just kind of like yes or no, black or white, poop or scoop.
Yeah.
Any other time I've submitted anything, you get an email back from them saying received. You get a receipt saying it received.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the professionalism here?
Yeah, as she sees it, as she processes it, that sort of thing. Not like no response or like the night before the agenda's due. That's just unprofessional.
Right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Red Hawk? I know that you're new to this whole process, being a young guy. What do you think of this?
Okay, so it says here that she is not current on tribal issues. And it seems like that's her job, to be current on these issues. And also, weaponizing veterans as security. I'm kind of curious about what you mean by that.
What we mean by that is she had veterans acting as security. And it was my personal experience that they were stationed at different corners of the group in the auditorium. And there was one he was really mean mugging in our direction where I was sitting with the people that, I was sitting with. And it made me feel uncomfortable. I myself have PTSD. So him, mean mugging over in that area, it really put me on guard. I don't know what your experience was, Liz, during that general council meeting, but I just didn't appreciate it. They were kind of puffed up like big roosters, and that is also triggering to my PTSD. So it was bad all around. You can be a security person and not be a thug.
Yeah, or intimidate people. I wasn't at that general council meeting, but I heard a lot about it, about what the security had done, that their actions toward other tribal members. Once it turned into an informational meeting, I guess it was kind of a shit show. So, but yeah, I wasn't there.
Yeah, it wasn't fun. I didn't appreciate it, and she called them out. She said, "Okay, veterans are the ones that I believe can tell people what to do, and people need to listen to them because they're veterans." And I don't know, they took it a little too far, in my opinion. Being security doesn't mean you have to be a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
Did that kind of clear it up for you there, Red Hawk?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Okay, cool. So the next thing we're going to look at, and I have this up here just to show folks that giving the general council reports 15 minutes per department program, it comes to a total of a whopping over 2 hours of them just giving their reports. And nothing ever really significant comes out of this reporting time. It's a lot of hot air, in my opinion, and you're wasting 2 hours. And by the time we've gotten quorum at 10:30, tack another 2 hours on there, it's lunchtime.
Right. Yep. Yeah, and the thing about all of this is all of these economic EDC, your Apple First, all of these entities, they have handouts right there at the door. You get your little information and move on, and you can sit there and read along with them, I guess, as they go over their reports. So, and here again, anybody would have the opportunity to get up and say, make a motion to, you guys do this while we eat lunch, or to the end.
Oh, I like that idea. Ooh, I really like that idea. So what would a person do to make a motion of changing the agenda? Does that needs to happen like right off the bat, right?
Yeah, if you want to do that, you get up and you just make a motion to amend the agenda, and then say what you want to do, and then they vote on it. The people either agree or they don't.
Yep. There you go. They either agree or they don't. Sit through 2 hours of reports or get to work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so item number 4, we have presenters William C. Hare and Teresa His Chase, tribal members, and my slides got a little messed up, but that's okay. Trying to scratch out the 15 minutes because their agenda item is declare a state of emergency for the Arapaho language program, and that's already been done.
Yes, it has. It's already been done. I think this is something that they can take to the business council. But I'm thinking they have updates. there's opportunities for them to go after more money or whatever. But still, that's something that the business council can act on.
Excellent.
It's already been declared.
Excellent point. So we could motion as part of that in the beginning. Let's move this agenda item. Maybe replace it with something more important. Next 5 presenter Carol Harper, tribal member, 15 minutes. Again, I'm trying to scratch out the 15 minutes here for her. Motion to adopt a resolution to form an organized task force for emergency management preparedness to be open to all interested members of the tribe to join. I have on here unnecessary. Tribal program is already in place. Move to remove the item from the agenda. Thoughts?
Well, either remove it or table it, because there's not enough information here. For one thing, who's going to pay for this task force? It's broke, and like you said, we have already got an emergency management plan. We have emergency operation plan. They work with the state, county, whoever, and the head of that is Harvey Spoonhunter, head of Homeland Security. This is what Harvey does. So I don't know. Does she want his job? Yeah.
She desperately wants to be in charge of something.
Another thing, okay, Sunny should know about this, because the response team includes all the directors, right? Or it should. Isn't she a director? She should be a part of this response team. Okay, Sunny, so I don't know why she even allowed this agenda item.
Sloppy.
Does she not know that we have our own emergency management plan?
That's concerning.
I don't know.
There you go. And this is the only picture I could find of Carol Harper on the fly. She's here with her BFF. But I will say I don't trust this person, Carol Harper, on a personal level. From my personal experience with Carol Harper and the whole MMIR movement, I know Nicole has taken the high road on that issue. A lot of nasty things on the side of Carol Harper went down. Nicole has taken the high road on it, but because of her actions and how she hurt that movement for purely selfish, self-serving reasons, is another reason why I do not trust this individual. With that being said, I will move forward. Here's my BFF. Okay, so Kim Harjo is number 6 up to bat, and I have cross out her 30 minutes. I mean, she's getting 15 minutes for, get this, folks, and I'm not making this up, terrorizing of election judges and tribal programs. Do you have any idea who she might be talking about, Liz?
No idea. I mean, she's an elected official, and if you can't take the heat from people, because people are going to come up to you, they're going to say things, they're going to demand things, and you have to just listen. Don't get mad, Harjo. Don't start having fits and whatnot. But that's what she does. She deflects, she starts accusing you, or call security, they're harassing me.
Oh, no.
Is our elected official, and I don't know who she's thinking somebody's terrorizing her or whatever.
Terrorizing the election judges and tribal programs. I don't know. I don't get it. Sounds very vendetta-like, in my opinion. And then the whole podcast thing. Who could she be talking about now? I don't know.
Yeah. And we have a freedom of speech in America.
Okay.
And that's something that they cannot take away from us.
Okay, when we get to the election judges.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's really not enough information here. Podcast. I mean, that was her. How is that an agenda item? if
Right.
I were to put podcast period out there to be put on the general counsel agenda, I think I would be laughed at, and rightfully so. Well, what does that mean? There's no information there. There's no move for this. No, there's no action to it. Is it just to bring people out, call them out, and berate them publicly for 15 minutes? Is this a public tar and feathering
Yeah.
for exercising your freedom of speech?
Yeah.
Disgusting.
You have to think, why don't they want indigenous people to have their own podcasts? And that's because they have something to hide and they don't like people talking about it.
I think you might be onto something there. I think you just might be onto something there. Okay, so would really like to see this taken off the agenda. I don't know. It's still kind of early in the game. Would Sunny relook at her agenda and say, oh, okay, yeah, it is kind of crap. I guess I will throw that out. I mean, can she do that?
No, I don't think she can. Well, she can, but it wouldn't look good on her part. What would have to happen is maybe go talk to Miss Kimberly Harjo and ask her, is this really necessary? Could you rescind your agenda item?
Perfect.
Please.
Save yourself face.
Yeah,
because
right.
this has been put in the newspaper. It's our agenda is published in the newspaper. It's forwarded by all the media outlets, and we look like idiots. Bringing stupid crap like this to our general counsel makes us look really dumb. So please do us all a favor and resend, Miss Harjo. Okay, I've spent enough beating on that dead horse. So Nicole Wagon, she has 2 resolutions here. I feel like I have a coughing fit coming up, so excuse me. Resolution enacting the immediate installation of GC duly elected election judges. Very important, folks. We need that to happen. Her second item is rescind the resolution here, and that is very important. That is the personal vendetta resolution that is being weaponized currently. And I just want to point out here on the agenda, Sunny Goggles is also very sloppy administratively because she states item A again as item C. So again, this agenda is given to the public, given to the media, published in the newspaper, and we look sloppy. Any input on that, guys?
Okay, yeah. Hold on. I got somebody here. But has got something to say. Go ahead.
Are you talking about me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So this is Frances Blackburn. I am an election judge that was selected by the General Counsel last year, and I'm glad you guys have given me this opportunity. First of all, what feelings are that we should have been in place, as soon as we were selected by General Counsel. And I don't know what the holdup is. I don't know why, in the first place, Council selected those 6 or 7 people. Well, actually, I do know why. One of them is so that he can kind of control the group, because actually he does. They won't do a damn thing without him. The other thing is that they're tribal employees. So there's a thing about you don't want to go against whoever signs their paycheck. So, we should have been in place a long time ago. Should have never selected the ones that they selected because, one of them was a councilman's sister, one of them was councilman's cousin, one was councilman's aunt. The rest were tribal employees. So, they did wrong by, first of all, selecting those ones. And then also, when I was in there, the election judges before us were getting $150 a meeting. Well, we decided, not myself, but with the input of the rest of them, that we were going to move that up to $250 a meeting. And then now I have written documentation signed by LC Charging Crow that they charge $500 every time they come together. I mean, they could meet twice a week and get $1,000. So, the tribe is poor, I wonder why. That needs to be looked at. Also, another thing, as far as Nora Willow goes, when we went to training, we went to 2 trainings when I was an election judge. And both trainings, their secretaries were not tribal employees. They were a secretary selected by the election judges. So what's happening here is a conflict of interest with her. She's kind of picking and choosing when the election committee will meet, who they will meet with, when she will have the meetings. See, that's all a conflict of interest. So I think later on, I would like to see us get our own secretary that have no conflict of interest, who won't have her paycheck signed by council. So, and the thing is that I don't know if people are aware, this has kind of been bothering me a lot, but when we look at applying or running for council, especially the ones who are running for re-election, it has been asked of us if we look at the credit card statements, because they all have a credit card, most of them do. And I asked Nora, I said, are we in that information? And Nora said, no, you're not. So, in my job, my daily job, attended a webinar or a seminar, and one of the biggest fraud detectors, one of the biggest ways to tell that fraud is happening, or that you can cover up fraud, is through credit cards. Something that needs to be one of the things that are brought before election council in order for people to run for re-election. And you guys kind of caught me off guard, so I'm just rambling here.
I wish you had let me know that you wanted to be on the podcast. I would have sent you a link so you could dial in directly, but thank you.
I'm at the park and I came on my walk, and then Liz just texted me. But these are things I actually have been wanting to say, especially about getting our own secretary. It shouldn't be somebody that has a conflict of interest and is not meeting the needs of the people, because election committee and herself, we're not there for the council. We're there for the people.
Right. Yes.
Sure that things run fair and honest. And, there's a reason why all of those people that are in there now were voted out. So,
Yeah.
It speaks for itself.
We had talked before about, back before the appointed, the election committee had power. And it was a good thing because, they made sure that our resolutions were followed, so they would actually had the power to remove, one of the business council or whoever, they had a lot of power to do things, and they were honest and they were on top of things.
Exactly.
And so, and another thing that's coming up and that's why I messaged you, Frances, is because these are Nicole's agenda items and she couldn't make it. So, and, who better than to somebody that, a previous judge that knows everything that's going on. And one thing that she wants to do is have this election committee, this unauthorized, the ones we don't recognize as lawful, to pay that money back. Since May, they have made $6,000, probably more now, $6,000 a piece. So
make up to $1,000 a week, each one of them.
So, yep, that's a lot of money to pay for your apartment in Denver, I guess. I don't know.
And then we tell people who are trying to bury their family members that there isn't enough money here, or there isn't enough money for people to go be with their sick, dying relatives in other cities, And then we are dishing out $1,000 per person for meetings that either happen or don't happen,
Yeah, and we can't even. Nicole can't even get a meeting with them.
And it shouldn't be that way. Their first obligation is to the people.
Right.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on, Frances. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, let me know next time you have one and what your topic is, and then I'd like to jump on as often as I can. I'm not afraid to voice my opinion, and I want to say that I'm very, very grateful for you guys that are sitting there, and Nicole for being the strong ones of the tribe. You actually really are, because the rest of us, we're afraid to lose our job. We're afraid to, get turned down for any kind of funding. We're afraid of this. We're afraid of that. We're afraid of retaliation. But a lot of people come to you guys trusting, in a trusting way, let you guys know what their needs are, what isn't right out there. And so I want to thank you ladies for doing that, because I know it's a tough job. I know you got to throw everything at you guys, and Dino and everybody else that works hard against all this corruption. I want to really say thank you to you guys, and keep up the good work. And I'm always going to stand behind you, because I know that you're not in it for the money. You guys are. You're in it because you care for the people. Well, thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you for that. I kind of needed that right now.
Yeah, well, I'm behind you all the way.
Thank you, Frances. Okay.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Well, that was fun. That was neat. I haven't done a call-in for the podcast yet. That worked out great. And we'll definitely, maybe we should have like a specific episode just for the election judges. I know we kind of touched on that, but maybe have a part 2 to that.
It's pretty interesting what the older ones, like the previous ones, like Caroline Hill, how they used to do it when she was election judge way back in the day. Well, not way back in the day, but
You're telling on yourself, Liz.
But
funny.
There's these different ones. They have a lot to say of how it used to be, and how now it's just so corrupt.
Yes, it's almost like they didn't like the ones that are in there now, didn't like the amount of power that they had or something. And like, oh, we need to get rid of those to get our way or something. It's kind of how it feels. Yeah, and I don't like feeling that way. Mm-hmm. Okay. Excuse me. All right. So let's go ahead and wrap up here. It kind of goes on to different discussion points here. Nicole's goes on to, she'd like to see a discussion on the appointment of additional election judges. Originally, I believe it was 7 election judges that we had, and now we're down to 5. And so we're kind of wondering where the other 2 went.
Yeah, we kind of know where they went, but I think, once these, once our ones we nominated in, or once we placed in there, once they get in there, they can look at things themselves, and it should be them to amend the 6663A. Because that's what we were working on. That's what we were working on before that councilman stepped in and did all this stuff. So anyway.
And it looks like she would also like to see another discussion on the reimbursement. We've had illegal people in there for quite a minute. $6,000 is quite a chunk of change per person.
Yeah, I could be wrong about that amount, but
that sounds like a ballpark figure, beer math. And then she would like to see possible reimbursement for the illegal election judges being in there raking in the dough. They're in there illegally. We voted in a whole new board. So why are we paying for something that we didn't vote for?
Mm-hmm. It's like somebody found a loophole and let you guys cling to your seats for a while longer.
They're kind of, I don't know, they're rat think about this. And then the last one, she would like to relook at, have a discussion about, and if the people feel so inclined to look at the compensation amount for the election judges. So those are those are Nicole's bullet points. Right. Finally, saving the best for last. Presenter Elizabeth Hodge, 15 minutes. Arapaho Ranch Board appointment, way overdue. Appoint 3 board members for a term of 3 years as pursuant to GC resolution. I have on here as a note, we need to replace item 4 with item 8. The floor is yours, Liz.
Yeah, I might be last, but this is not least. This is one of the most important things on the agenda, I believe, next to the election judges. And I just don't even want to talk about it, and it is an action item. We don't have to discuss it. I don't want to see all this fighting in general council, the accusations, let's just go by the resolution and get it done. You're appointed for 3 years. And then somebody needs to work on that resolution and update it.
Yes, absolutely. So if there's a chance that we can replace item 4, and as a reminder of what item 4 was, it was the Northern Arapaho language program that has already been classified as in an emergency state, and it's a matter of the business council can amend that if they need to go after more money. So that's what we could replace item 4. We could replace that item with item 8 if the people were so to choose.
Yeah, it's just that, like I said in the beginning, we just make a motion to amend the agenda. It's up to the people if they want to remove the first 2, agenda items, which is the language and then the task force or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, and I think most of the tribal members would agree that this needs to be taken care of. It's been too long.
I totally agree. So, 2/3 of the agenda is kind of junk, in my opinion. It could be shuffled around and made a lot more efficient. But it's up to the people to make those moves when the day comes. Which again is May the 30th at Blue Sky Hall. I know there's some buzz going on. We can quickly go over a couple of additional items here before we close out. The Secretary of State, Chuck Gray, is talking about electoral boundaries, and he wrote a letter to the Fremont County Commissioners and the governor saying that we need to look at the way that our electoral boundaries are. And this stems from a Supreme Court ruling that came from the East Coast, not even local, that they were finding, or the Supreme Court looked at it and they were scooping up, I guess they were black votes or something to that effect, and it was gerrymandering or whatever. It came out that the Supreme Court ruled in the favor of not making boundaries along racial pockets. So now this really not so smart guy, Secretary of State Chuck Gray, says, well, we should do that here in Wyoming, and the only racial area that we have is the House District 33. And we have the Fremont County Commissioner seat here that has been historically a Native person holding that seat. And it's currently Clarence Thomas. He's the 4th one on the right as the county commissioner here. And whenever Secretary of State Gray sent out his letter, the commissioners were not impressed. And he actually got some pushback in the media from Mr. Clarence Thomas saying, this is not an issue. Any thoughts on that?
No, not from me.
And then here's House District 33, Ivan Posey. This is the House District right here. And basically, instead of having an at-large, a district type of representation, it would be at large. And so everybody could vote for every seat and that sort of thing. And there has been some legal battles fought in the past. And I recommend folks to look at the open letter from this lawyer who was involved with it during that time. His name is Andrew Baldwin, and it is on the on Facebook. And it's titled Open Letter to the Fremont County Commissioners. And he's given them the most insightful view of the situation. So highly recommend you going and looking at that. Just quickly, there was a court battle, and they did conclude, as a matter of fact, that at-large elections for the Fremont County Commission dilutes the Indian voting strength. And why would we want to do that? That's a great question. Another thing that I kind of wanted to point out too is he pointed out the Wyoming Statute 18351 states in there geographic, economic, and social characteristics of the county. Is basically it. There are differences between on-reservation residents and off-reservation residents, including economic, health, cultural, and social differences. And so there are differences, and it has absolutely nothing to do with race. It's more of a social economic situation. So basically, that's kind of he's not doing any favors. He's cherry picking something that happened on the East Coast, trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. If it's not broken, why are you trying to fix it? Fix it.
Yeah.
Okay, so how can we voice our opinions? How can we change this, turn this cart around? There's going to be a corporations committee, corporations, elections, and political subdivisions meeting taking place next week, the 21st through the 22nd, here in Lander. I think it's not too late to go ahead and sign up to testify if you want to put your 2 cents in here. These are legislators on that committee who will be in Lander next week. And if this continues to go on, we also have the Select Committee on Tribal Relations coming up in June at CWC. So feel free to sign up to testify. These are the legislators on that committee. Finally, do not confirm Darren Smith as a U.S. Attorney for the District of Wyoming. And the Nicole and her group has been making a lot of noise about this, and they're absolutely correct. This guy has all kinds of misconduct that he did during a grand jury situation that happened in March. About 10 different felonies were brought before a grand jury panel, and he was giving out his card. He was telling them that the defendants were already pretty much guilty. And as of today, 9 of those federal cases have been dismissed without prejudice, so they can be brought in. But what a dumpster fire. Any comments?
Nope. I'm just glad that Nicole's on top of all this, with all the protesting, because we, as Native people, we already go through so much with our missing, our murdered. I mean, we have here now. Well, just like every other week seems like, these guys need to do their due diligence. They need to, make things fair for everybody. This guy, calling things a slam dunk, yeah, he needs to go. We don't need that kind of stuff here.
Absolutely. So check out the flyer. They MMIR 307 group and the, I believe, Action Council are teaming up. They've been to protests. They have a good flyer here with good information, points of contact, phone numbers for Loomis and Barrazo. Need to be reaching out to those people so this man does not get confirmed. He's basically the federal prosecutor, and he, would be handling cases, a lot of cases from the reservation, and he's a piece of junk.
Wasn't there one federal case with the Native dismissed?
Yep, it was dismissed for I believe it was murder or manslaughter or something, but it's without prejudice. So they have to start from scratch. They have to get a new grand jury and that sort of thing. And, it's just uncalled for, unprofessional. And the man needs to go and not be confirmed. He shouldn't have been in there in the first place. For heaven's sake, don't confirm him.
Right.
All right, I think that's all I have. Let's have last thoughts. Last thoughts, Miss Liz, you are first.
Well, I just don't know if I just hope we get quorum. That's the biggest thing with us is getting quorum. If we can get the people in there, usually, like we've always said, it's money or the drama, the firing, that gets the people in there, and we don't have none of that. We've got we got terrorizing. We've got what else we got? Well, language is important, but it's already been done. So I don't know what to say else. So I just hope we get quorum and at least get our judges in there and get the ranch board taken care of.
Perfect. Awesome. That would be a slam dunk.
That's a slam dunk in my book too.
Red Hawk, do you have any last thoughts before we sign off?
No, I think it was an amazing podcast. I just have to say that I thought it was interesting that when she said that people are afraid of retaliation, I feel
yeah.
like that
They
should
can.
not be the case.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Kind of sad, but true. But hey,
Yeah.
we are out here. We're the foot soldiers. We're in the trenches, and we're trying to do right by everybody. Hey, thank you so much, guests, for coming on. I really appreciate it. Until next time, stay safe out there. All my relations.
You bet. All right.